Welcome back to Tequila Chats. Today's guest is Michael Altneu. Michael is an amazing guy, but most importantly, he leads one of the most prestigious luxury real estate programs in the world. That is the Coldwell Global Luxury Program as its vice president. Named a marketing leader by Housing Wire and a real estate newsmaker by Risk Media. Michael redefines luxury marketing with innovation and global perspective. Michael Altneu, welcome to Tequila Chats. How long did it take us to do this together? I almost sent my mom. My Colombian mom almost went to get to whatever you are.
You wanted to save the best for last, so this is why it took so long.
You're absolutely right. So you know what?
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Cheers, babe.
Let's see. What do you think of that tequila?
This is good.
Yeah. I know you're not a tequila person.
I'm like a white wine kind of guy.
Oh, but drink more. You will be a tequila person in a minute.
I'm like a red wine kind of guy. Okay, temperature-wise, when it's nice out, I'll drink white.
Okay.
But when it's cooler out, I'll drink red.
But we're in between.
I know, so I'll just drink this. There you go. In the middle of the afternoon. I'll drink this anytime. This is great.
No, but thank you very much for being here.
You kidding?
You know how much I adore you. I love you to death. We know each other. I don't know if people know, we know each other for a long time. At least for 20 years. We were babies.
We were babies. Do we still look the same?
Yes, you look the same. I don't look the same.
You look the same. You haven't aged.
Oh, please, keep saying it. Keep saying.
Tell me.
But we knew each other through a mutual friend, and it was love at first sight then, and we've been friends since. And it's so great to have you the past few years here with Coldwell and to partner with you and do such amazing things. And again, thank you for being part of Tequila Chats. You know how much I love this, and I've been wanting you to be in this series for a long time, but our schedules didn't allow that.
We love you. Love you. We love you. So
you are the sweetest.
Thank you for being the best part of this network.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. But
you're
here to talk about you.
All right.
And only you.
Let's talk about me.
As you know, Tequila Chats is about kind of like learning from best lessons. Success doesn't happen in a minute for most people, and success takes a lot of work. And so what we want is for those of us who are listening and watching, kind of like to learn from your best practices and things that got you to where you are right now, and the level of professional, the level of success that you have achieved certainly has been done through your hard work, but also how smart you are and your intuition. And so the first question that I usually ask has to do with your origin, and not your business origin, but like your personal origin.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are all these things in your childhood or when you were growing up, and all these people through those early, stages of your life that really influence not only who you are right now as an adult, but what you do. And so, tell us a little bit about that origin story and those early influences.
Yeah. So, okay, I don't know if you knew this, but I was born and raised in New Jersey.
Yes.
I'm a Jersey boy.
Yes.
I still have my 201 area code. Shout out to 201. Shout out to 201. I still have that area code.
Yeah.
I grew up in a really small little suburban town, outside of New York City. And I always kind of knew I wanted to expand beyond that little area.
Yes.
But it was fun. And when I was there, I just was ingrained in the community. I was an EMT. This is before. Yes. Do you remember knowing about this?
By the way, you do a lot of community work, but I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No. I will say that's what my origin story is rooted back in that, because when I was in high school, I decided to get my EMT certification, and I was a volunteer riding all hours of the night, serving that community. I had a little blue light in my car. We did it when we got calls on these pagers.
Yeah.
I loved that. I felt very important.
I can totally see.
I loved it. But we responded to ambulance calls in those 3 towns.
Yeah.
And I think I performed CPR 75 times.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I gotta keep you near.
You keep me near. And I'm still current on it, by the way.
There you go.
I'm still current. I then administered COVID vaccines during the pandemic.
Yes,
I got it back. Yes. But my origin story was back there. That, if you think about the things that shaped you, those experiences and being an EMT, I can't tell you the things that I saw and the things that I had to compartmentalize. You really, it humanizes you in a way.
Yes.
Because you see things that others don't ever get to see.
Yes.
And you're just rooted in the fundamentals of what life is when you're faced with it and you are making the decisions to either revive someone or help them. So that's where my story was rooted back then, rooted right in those pieces.
Yes.
And then out of college, I always just, once I loved college, but I was also ready for it to be done so I could start working. And I was that guy right out of college who was like, what do I do? 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 And that's how I got into real estate.
And so how do you find real estate? I was talking to somebody earlier and said, did you find real estate or real estate found you?
Oh, no.
I know that real estate found me.
It found you.
I
No, it
didn't
found
even
me.
know I wanted to do it until so for you, it found you as well.
Through my mom.
Oh, tell me everything. Tell me the whole story.
I told you I went out of college.
Yeah.
So I said to my mom, I was like a hustler even like back in like 06 when I graduated.
Yeah.
But I said to her, all right, Mom, you're pretty connected. Who do you know that can just help me get a job? I want to get my foot in the door somewhere. So I had my mom help network some connections for me. And she said, I spoke to my friend's friend. They have an opening at a new development site with Douglas Elliman.
Yes.
In New York City.
We're going to bleep that, by the way.
A competing firm in New York City. They're global. A competing firm. I know, right? We can't say it. No, always massive respect for everyone in the industry. But that's how I started. So I was an admin on a new development site downtown. I think the building was 120 Greenwich Street. I was doing reports. I was doing grunt work.
Yeah.
But I worked my butt off.
Yeah.
And I hustled, and then I got up to the corporate level there, and then I did more with the corporate level. And I was lucky though; people let me be in the room with them, and I was, there's many people. I'm thankful
tell me
for.
about that. What do you mean by people let you be in the room?
There were two women specifically who I credit everything to, and they knew how hard I worked. And I said to them, and they really said to me too. I said, I just want to be in the room and listen to you. I just want to understand what you're saying, how you're saying it, so I could learn and use it.
Yes.
And they said, yes, come be in the room and just listen and observe.
Yes.
And I did that. And them letting me be in the room, giving me that credibility, giving me the ability to kind of think beyond what I knew, I credit them for everything.
But you had a pretty meteoric kind of like rise, right? In this industry. Tell us about that journey.
It was amazing. I remember the division kept growing. The new development division just kept growing. And I was fortunate enough that I was kind of being new where I was doing some buildings that I guess were in the portfolio for a while or needed extra help, and I was doing a lot of the grunt work. But then others kind of saw my talent and they pushed me onto other things. And I was there at that one firm for almost 13, 14 years.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
A long time, but then by the end of it, I was overseeing developments in New York, Los Angeles, I was in Miami. All over. I kind of spearheaded the LA office opening.
Yes.
But I loved it. I loved it.
Yes.
And I love this industry. I love, the part about that job that I loved too was the fact that every new development was a new marketing challenge. There were so many marketing obstacles.
It's a new story.
Well,
it's a new angle. Yes,
new development and new marketing all that well. That was the part that was so exciting to me. So I, did rise pretty quickly there. I was very lucky, and I worked hard too.
Yes, you work hard. Yes.
Worked hard, but at the same time, it was a lot of grunt work. It was a lot of travel. I was bi-coastal for 2 years between New York and LA. I lived at the Sunset Tower Hotel, basically.
Oh well, that's not a shabby.
It wasn't shabby at all. It was great. It was fantastic. I love that place though. That's how I got to know LA.
Yes.
Before I moved out there.
Yes.
And then I left them. I worked with a PR firm for a little bit, did some consulting at a tech agency, worked with an amazing creative firm.
Yes.
And then I said, am I ever going to get back into the brokerage side of the things?
Yeah.
And then this job came about.
Yes.
Did I ever tell you how I got introduced to
tell
this?
us
Did I tell you?
I do, but you have to
All right.
tell it again.
So I had I saw this job posted, and I said, this is for me. I don't know who created this job, but I need this job. So I had a friend, her name was Danielle, who knew our chief marketing officer, David, and kind of helped make the connections and the intros. And many interviews later and presentations.
Yes, here we are.
Here we are in the flesh.
We're lucky to have you. You really have already made your mark on the program and on the Global Luxury program and certainly on the company. And so
I love this.
We
company.
really are lucky to have you. Yes,
I love this
company. But let's talk about the role of creativity in real estate, because I think that's something that is not part of our vernacular. I think when we are talking about real estate marketing, whether it's new construction, maybe it's a little bit more obvious in new construction, but even in general brokerage, I don't think that we speak of creativity. But you are, by purpose, a creative person. What is the role of creativity in your experience in real estate, and how has creativity allowed you to grow in this business and get to the level of success that you have achieved up to this point?
I love, it's the best question, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, there's a lot. We are inundated with things left and right. And real estate, particularly on the luxury side, is so hyper personal.
Yeah.
And the ability for someone like yourself, by the way, to do something different makes a lasting impact, and you can see the results. To me, when things are done differently and results are seen from that, that's the creativity that we all strive for.
Yeah.
No one wants, there are certain pieces of this business that are more routine and more mundane, if you want to call it that. But when you can do something fun and different and they get to know you.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, and you look at the luxury real estate piece, like think of it like a triangle. There's all the agents at the bottom of the triangle. And then you kind of climb up this triangle, and there's fewer and fewer properties at the mark at the top.
Yeah.
And agents that want to get to that space. So it's got to be ingenuity. It's got to be, decisiveness, but it's also got to be doing things differently.
Yeah, that creativity and that, yes.
But people, people want to work with you because they love you. They see you. They feel like they know you. I've been with you in Boston, and people stop you on the street because they know your social media.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do some fun stuff on social too, but it's different. I'm not selling like all of you are. But for me, like in my role, I always want, and it's a big company. We're everywhere.
Yes.
And, in my role, I have a big responsibility to just make sure that we as a company remain different and competitive.
Yes.
That we are doing things that kind of push the norm, so that when I give those items to you and all the agents, you can have different conversations with clients.
Yes.
So there's kind of like a twofold piece to this. There's the things that I do, there's the things that you do, and then there's kind of like taking the history of this brand and the legacy, and then adding new life to it and new components. So it's all encompassing, but it's what drives us.
Yeah, but for you, somebody who's so embedded in luxury real estate and has been actually working on luxury real estate for such a long time, what do you think is the future of that specific market segment? Where do you see that market segment going?
It's only going to get larger. And I say that because after COVID, our fundamentals of how we looked at housing changed forever.
Yeah.
The value of home has always been immense, but when it became this notion that it is your place, there's generations, it took on a whole new level that it never did previously. And the other part too is, what came out of that is remote work. There's more locations. Granted, there are still companies and people going back to offices and stuff, and that's there. But the ability for people to be more spread out, to be able to have the house that may not be in the city where they work, will continue to generate that sector.
Yes.
Now, luxury, is still subject to the market swings that others are seeing. It's not immune to these things, but generally it tends to kind of outperform some of the, not the regular market, but the parts that aren't.
And it tends to lead in many ways.
It leads it. It leads it.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes like those notable sales or those notable pieces that then get others to look at it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And for me, luxury is kind of on this upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Not only because of the stats and the numbers,
Yeah.
but because of how we value home, and then
Yes.
because of just how people can work and how they will continue to work.
No, it's a very interesting. The luxury market segment is very interesting as well, because I think that it's moved from being, and I'm talking about luxury market segment, being kind of like a local business, and it's truly a national, international type of outlook onto it, right?
Massive.
Like we used to see our clients, for example, in Boston, our luxury clients will have a home in Boston, and they'll have a home maybe in Miami. Yeah. Now they have a home in LA, and then they have a home in Kennebunkport, and then they have a home in Naples.
Or here.
And they have a home, exactly, right?
On the golf course.
And now I think that is something that is relatively new in sense that it's a much more open market. And even though that local expertise and that local know-how is super important, understanding how the luxury market segment operates at a much larger level is also paramount for us as agents.
That's it.
I don't know if you're seeing that, through your position.
All over. You know what I tell people, and this is going to sound, I'm really going to date myself here, by the way, but I tell agents, make sure your Rolodex is so up. Does anyone use a Rolodex?
I say the same thing.
Does anyone use a Rolodex anymore?
Not really, but I understand.
I write everything out, by the way. I'm a big, if I don't write it out, I won't remember it, but that's separate. But I mean, I say make sure your Rolodex or your speed dial is up to date, because migration trends are changing every week.
Yes.
And you want to be that first call from a referral in Austin or Tulsa or Boulder, or anywhere people are moving. Like, if you're not front and center, not only of your market, but of your referral markets, and then anticipating it, right?
Michael, I cannot tell you the past couple of years, the majority of my business has come from those referrals.
That's
and a huge chunk comes from those feeder markets.
Yes.
It's really, really humble. And I've been, working that whole strategy of the feeder markets and putting resources into that for years, and now we really are seeing it happen. And I think that the other trend, and you're really familiar with this, has to do with trends on wealth migration. Because I feel like luxury client is getting younger. By the day. Completely. Are you seeing that also at a much more macro level?
Oh my God, yes. We did a whole study on demographics in one of the reports. And even one of the pieces we looked at were almost like this TikTok style influencer craze as well too. There's massive amounts of money that are being made on the lower age groups now. And wealth is not just like those typical brackets anymore.
No.
There are different demographics. I think, Gen X and baby boomers are still of interest.
But my luxury clients are getting younger, which is really interesting.
They're getting younger. They're getting younger because there's also new streams of income. It's unbelievable. But going back to that though, you do such a great job of the referrals. And you are like front and center of so many people's ecosystem. Through these things and everything.
But I gotta tell you, it's important because it's not just I'm not doing it just for the business. In my ethos, what I'm trying to find out is continuity of the service that I provide to my clients, and I am partnering with people that are like-minded, colleagues of mine that are like-minded, and that I know are going to do not just as good as a job as I do, but maybe even a better job than I do for those clients that I'm sending. And I know that they feel the same way when they're sending people my way. So it's a really interesting. It's a big change, I think, in how the luxury market segment is operating.
But it's successful because you see the return you put on those relationships. You're like the walking example of
that. It truly is, yes. But let's go back to you.
Yes, I like that.
You're loving that up.
Bring it back.
Of course. We need more tequila.
I want more of this.
Listen, we're going to talk about you. I need to.
I'll drink this all day long.
So when you look at your career, because you've been doing this for what? Almost a couple of decades
since
now,
I was 3. No joke.
So that's,
when I was born, I was born with my real estate license.
You've been doing this for almost a couple of decades.
Let me think. Since I've been doing this, I graduated college in 2006. I took a year off. It's supposed to be 2005. Yeah, 2006.
Yeah, so almost 19 years. Yes.
It's God.
Yeah, I get a year on you.
Yes.
In real estate, not in life. In life, it's a completely different
but you look younger than me, so don't even start.
But when you look at your entire career, the past couple of decades, can you reflect on a specific tipping point in your career that you realize, okay, I am moving in a very different direction. My trajectory is changing. And what do you do? How do you take advantage of that specific tipping point?
I think it was when I was offered the ability to move out to LA to spearhead the opening of, the offices for that firm at one point, and to spearhead all the developments we had out there and to be that point person.
Yeah.
I think, I had always done the work. I had always, but then when you're given that authority.
Yes.
To perform.
Yeah.
To become that person, I think that for me was saying, wow, they want me to lead that. And that was the moment for me where I was, and I thought to myself, I go,
what about it? What about it do you think was significant?
I called my grandpa when it happened.
Aww.
And I said, Grandpa, you won't believe it. Like, this is what, because I always wanted to make him proud because he, how special they are to me. And I called him and I said, Grandpa, this is what they want me to do and I want to do it. And he goes, I'm so proud of you. And that was the moment too where when he says, he's always been proud of me, but you could tell it was a different thing back.
Yes.
Right? It's from family. That was the big thing. I mean, and from there, it was, it was amazing. I did a lot of airline travel in the meantime. We do a lot of travel. And I love the travel, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think when I kind of moved across the country, that was the moment where it was okay, this is it. Let's step it up.
Yes.
Let's do it.
You think it's in the sense that it was kind of like a new frontier, or you think it was more in the sense that it was a different level of responsibility? What was it? How could you quantify or qualify that tipping moment?
It was both. It was both.
Yeah.
It was a new level in my career, number one. It was a new level in my career, but then it was just like this new level of responsibility. It was just kind of like, you always have the support of people, but like when you're like that forward face, and then there's a whole new set of things that come with it. I think that was the point for me, where it was like, that was the point, where like you're the face.
Yeah.
How are you gonna build this?
Yes.
How are you then gonna make it successful for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years in an already ultra competitive space? Like, you're the person. Like, what do you need to change? What do you need to do better? And I think to that point too, like, I never settled. I never said, we're good.
Yeah.
We're never, like, we can do great things. We can celebrate those wins.
Yes.
But we always have to be not even on the defensive. We always have to be ready to do even better.
Well, you lose your edge if you're not.
You just have to.
You cannot sleep on your laurels.
And it's fun. And I mean, I think at night, like, I have ideas at night and in bed, and I'm like scrambling ideas before I go to bed, so don't forget them in the morning. We all are just constantly remembering things.
Yeah.
Though I should use my phone now. I should just do a voice recording.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm living in.
I use a Rolodex.
Go back to the Rolodex. Look who's stuck. No,
erasable pens. Rulers.
Okay, now you're really dating yourself.
Listen, I did well in math.
So, going back to your career and looking at all of your successes and that trajectory, what have you learned from success?
I think I've learned a few things.
Yeah.
I think the first is with team building, is that you can get to a level of success, but you have to inspire those that want to be on that journey with you. That means two things. That means you want those who are working with you to feel a sense of empowerment, a sense that they kind of own that space, but a sense that they also share this collective goal that they want to help you get there. You're only as good as the team that supports you. Like, your team
absolutely
adores you, and I adore your team. Because you need those people. You can't do it alone. And I think, almost as much as the job with the responsibilities is the team, and making sure that I will make sure, like, the team feels happy, supported, take the time off that you need, come back refreshed, like, make sure your mental health is okay.
Don't give my team any ideas.
Everyone's on vacation. Everyone go take a vacation. Everyone go take a vacation. But I think, that you were asking the question, like, what really gets you, like, with the success? I think, like, the team part is one of the biggest pieces. Is like, that's the biggest part, because then you could do things differently.
And what are you the most proud of in terms of your success?
You know something? I'm proud of a few things. Like, I don't define myself by my job, but it's a huge part of me.
Yes.
I'm proud of what I've done to get back to my community, like those pieces as an EMT. I'm proud that I made an impact in work, but I think the biggest impact that I can really have is when someone comes to me, and I got an award for this, and they said, "Oh, you saved my life." I mean, I think about it, and it's amazing.
That's gotta be a very different type of feeling, yes.
But then I think the other piece for me is, when I see all the things that we're doing now, and I think, to me, wait, the question was what again? It was what?
Like, what are you the most proud of?
That's right. What am I the most proud of? I think I'm just so proud of when I see our team and our company doing things that revolutionize what's been done before, but then seeing the success of people like you and others use it. I think that's the biggest gift for me, and the biggest thing that keeps me going is that when I see the impact made on the pieces we're doing, and the way we're going, and the direction of all that we're doing, and I hear back, that it's made an impact in someone's business, you can't beat that.
Well,
you can't beat that.
I can't imagine.
And the support I have from people like you and everyone is, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Well, it's the best. It's the best.
I get it. And so, on the opposite side of that coin, what have you learned from your failures?
Okay. A lot of times I've thought to myself with failures is I've sometimes kind of only been on one track with certain projects. And I think about it kind of on like a project basis. I think to myself, like, if I did something differently, how could the outcome have changed? And I look back at it and I say, you know, I might have only been interested in the end goal and how to get there quickest, instead of thinking to myself, you know what, I can push the boundary here. I can do things differently. And whether or not it's a failure, it's a learning. You know, it's a learning example.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, tons of failures. I've done things where, you know, I said, let me go, and maybe I've gone too far, and I've pulled back a little bit, or I veered off a little bit, and it's brought me back in.
Yeah.
I honestly don't mind the failures, and I don't mind like when my team says to me, you know what, we could have done this differently. Great. Yeah. Let's do it differently.
Yes, exactly. We have opportunities to do it. Yes.
Let's learn. The failures are part of it. You know, no one is going to get to a level of success without failures, and probably a good amount of times.
Yeah.
It happens. I mean, how often do we do things and we're like,
Plus, you know, there is this interview. I was having this conversation with somebody a while ago, and we were talking about expertise and success and all this stuff. And this person said to me, you know, expertise, success by themselves, when you think about it, it's a mad process, because really is the process of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again until you feel like you got it where you needed it to be, and then you start doing it again because there's a different way or a better way of doing it.
That's it.
And so it's an endless process of success and failure. Yeah. It's an endless process of trial and error. It's an endless process of reinventing something that you are really good at, but trying to make it even better and redefining and relearning it in many ways. And so I completely appreciate what you were saying. I understand what you're saying.
And you know, the best failures have led to the biggest successes.
Yeah.
The best failures. Yeah. I mean, the ones where I look back and I say, okay,
yes,
maybe not recent as of stuff, but those have led to change. They've led to positive outcomes. Yeah. Those are the times to celebrate it.
Yes.
Yes, that didn't go as planned, but heck yeah, you can make it even better.
Yes, totally.
Right?
Totally. And so now, I know you're a busy young man, and you have more important things to do, calls, things, lunches, dates. I don't know what you're doing.
Everything.
But
everything.
What do you think, this is usually our last question, what do you think is the key to success?
There's a few things. First, I think you really have to just be so proud of what you've done, is the first part. The key to success is you have to find the peace within, and this is going to sound a little bit mushy almost, but it's true. You have to find the peace within that makes you happy with who you are. I always, you know, growing up, struggled with things. You know, I've never been afraid to talk about the fact that, you know, before coming out, it was hard to, you know, just with mental health and all those things, is you have to just become the best person of yourself, to become the best person for others. And that, I say this to people because often we are grinding and grinding and grinding. And I always say your mental health needs to be number one. And that's one part of success. You know, that's part of like who you are as a person. To take care of yourself. To take care of yourself, but to be proud of yourself. The second part of success is to have fun in what you do. If you are not having fun and you are not waking up every day excited, you'll probably need to pivot. And pivot so that you have fun. Make the changes. I thought I wanted to be pre-med originally. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And I realized, you know what? That's not what I wanted to do. Like, I am not going to go to all those.
And here you are sitting
here.
I
am sitting with you. This is way better. This is like, this is the best. This is the best. That's success. I don't define success by salaries or bonuses or material items. I define it by true happiness in what you do, the impact you make in people's lives, and the ability for you to just be happy and proud always of what you've done and who you are and where you came from.
Well, you know, this is why we love you so much.
I love you.
And Michael, thank you very much for the chance to have this conversation. I really, really appreciate it.
We have been trying for so long.
Really have.
But guess what?
What is it?
Before you sit up,
we're
gonna flip the script for a little bit.
What do you mean?
I have a surprise for you. You're being interviewed now on Tequila Chats. May I please have the questions? Yes!
Well, I hope you had as much fun as I did with this conversation, so make sure that you like, share, comment, and follow. See you in the next episode. Salud.